I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You've been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. Oh, you've been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're grateful. When I was your foe, your love still fought for me. Lord, you have been so, so good to me. And when I had no worth, you paid it all for me. Yeah. God, you've been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, yeah, yeah. God, you chase me down, yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, running after me, yeah. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of
Good evening, everyone. Welcome here to our Down Your Fast Q&A. I would like to invite you to share this out. If you will, just hit that share button if you're on Facebook. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, that'd be great. If we just ask that you please subscribe if you have not already, and because that will help us out a great bit. So glad to have you here this evening. We're here at the request of our partners who want to learn more about this Daniel fast. We have a number of people who will be their first time participating. And so we just wanted to come on and to share some information for those who want to join in on this fast. And here's the thing, you don't have to be a partner at First Christian. Anyone in the community, you can join us. We'd be more than happy to have you in our fast, which will begin on this coming Sunday, January the 7th, and it will be ending on Saturday, January the 27th. So all are welcome to join us. We'd be more than happy to have you. So tonight, we have Sis Minister Renee Wallace, who will be coming on. We're going to ask if she would just come on stage now. Minister Renee Wallace is the co-chair of our education and ministry. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Good evening. How are you? And how's everyone doing?
We're fine. We're fine. So, Renee, I understand, of course, as I shared, you are part of the co-chair with our Christian education ministry. And so you've been given some questions from our partners regarding this fast. So I'm going to turn this over to you. Okay. With the questions that you have. And so we can just go from there. And just want to say for everybody who's online, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat. We'll see it and we will be more than happy to try to answer your questions.
Okay, we have several questions here. And the first one is, what is the Daniel fast?
Okay, well, that's a good question to jump off. Well, the Daniel fast really comes from out of the book of Daniel, of course, over in the 10th chapter, around the 2nd verse. And how it came about, if you will, when you start reading over in Daniel, Daniel had received a revelation from God, but he didn't know what it meant. And so he went before the Lord to find out what this revelation was, what this vision, what it meant. And so he decided to fast. And the scripture tells us that for 3 weeks, in which that's where we get our 21 days from, that for 3 weeks he ate no choice food. And he just stayed before the Lord. He didn't eat any choice. He only ate certain foods. He had no wine. He had no meat. And he also said he did not use any lotion. But we're going to omit that part because we need some lotion.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I would not suggest we fast from the lotion. But that's where it comes from, out of Daniel. It is what we would call a partial fast that he was doing. He was still eating. We just know he was eating vegetables. Exactly what, we don't know, but because the scripture just says no choice food, and that he just had no meat and had no wine and so forth. So that is the Daniel fast. The Daniel fast is really what we call a partial fast because you are eating. But there's also what we call a normal fast, or a full fast, and that's where you abstain from all food, and the only thing you take in would be water or some type of herbal tea or something on that order. Yeah.
Well, why is the church doing a Daniel fast, and why should we participate in the Daniel fast?
All right. Another good question. So that's a two-parter. So let's start with the first part, and that is, why is the church doing this Daniel fast? And we're doing it for two main reasons. The first reason we want to put out is that First Christian right now, we are in what we call the moving forward season. Ever since the pandemic, First Christian, and I would say most Christian, no, I would not just say most Christian, but most faith-based institutions, places of worship have changed. The pandemic changed us. And so for First Christian, the First Christian before the pandemic is not the same First Christian after the pandemic. And so it has caused us now to gather differently. Before the pandemic, the church's main focus usually was to bring people in. But now worship is done in person and is done virtually. So we need to not just try to figure out how to bring people in. But our focus now is not trying to bring you in, it's trying to connect, is being able to connect people. And so that takes on a whole, a very large task, if you will. And so part of what we did to deal with that task, or to try to address where we are in this new norm, was, if you remember back in, I think it was around March of last spring, we just invited all of our leadership, and we also invited, of course, all of our partners. And for those who online who do not belong to First Christian, we call our members partners, if you will. So we invited partners to come in and to just come in and to just start brainstorming. So we began to do a deep dive, if you will, and to identify those challenges and opportunities that we have now that we're out of the pandemic. How do we now connect? How do we now minister in this new norm? How do we deal with being a hybrid church, where you have some people in person and some virtually, and then we have some who may be in church today, but they're online next week. And so we just brought people in, so just to hear from them, to hear, get their ideas and get their recommendations, and just to have an opportunity to think outside of the box, if you will. And so we did that. If you recall, for 5 weeks, we went through that whole process, and we just took all of the information that we had gathered, every comment, every suggestion, every recommendation, and we prioritized those based on the quantity of concerns and suggestions on a particular subject. That's how we kind of, broke it out, if you will.
Yeah.
I say all that to say that process, part of that process is still continuing. It's this whole process of transforming the church, of exploring to see where the church is, and moving and identifying where is that God wants us to move, is not something that's done overnight. It is a very laborious process, and it takes a lot of time. And because the church is God's church, if you will, we are his people, we want to move with the church and to be in line with his vision and with his purpose and with this mission that he has specifically for FC3. So therefore, it requires that we seek his face. We need to go to God to find out from God what it is that, and where it is that he wants us to be, what it is that he wants us to do, and how he wants us to serve. And so we just want to be aligned with him. So that is the first, one of the main reasons why we want to fast, is to seek God's face, and to hear from him in this new norm. This is something you just don't want to jump out and try to do on your own account and how you think it should be done, if you will. The second reason we're doing the fast, which is kind of in conjunction, is because you want to connect with people within the community and with so forth. But the second reason that we are into this fast is that we are this time praying specifically for 3 areas. We are praying for our church, we are praying for our communities, and we're praying for our educational system. Why those 3 areas? Because those 3 areas are the 3 cord strand, if you will, that make up our communities. The church and the school is only as strong as the community, and the community is strong if the church is strong. And so everything is all connected. And there's so much is going on in this world now. There's so many challenges. I mean, there was just another school shooting, I think out in Iowa or Idaho. Just today. And so we're just living in a whole different world right now. And there's so many obstacles and challenges that our children are being faced. There's so many obstacles and challenges within our communities. And we want the church to be in a position where we can work in harmony, if we will, and to be a source or be a place where people can come and learn about God, but not only learn about God, but just to apply his principles and to their lives, and to just strive to be, to have a better life, if you will, and to deal with situations. So that is the other reason we're in the fast. So those two reasons, of course, is we're in the moving forward season, and we're still seeking his guidance and direction. It is a long process. And the other reason is we want to pray for our communities. We want to pray for our schools. We want to pray for the church.
Wow. That's excellent. We need to keep our schools and everything lifted in
Yeah,
today's society because it is so much going on.
it is. There's an
Yes.
awful lot that's going
Yeah.
on, and our young people, they're just dealing with so much now. You got social media, you have
Yeah.
everything that's coming at them. Um, Things that we know that we didn't have to deal with, but they have to deal with it. And then you have parents who are dealing with things,
Yeah.
and it's just a lot that's happening.
Yeah.
And coming out of the pandemic, as they're saying, I think for many of us, we really don't realize how traumatized
Yeah.
the pandemic has caused us, if you
Yeah.
will. And so, therefore, not only now have we dealing with the pandemic of COVID virus, but now we're dealing with the pandemic of mental health. And
Yes.
so there's so much mental health issues. And those are the things that the church need to be cognizant of,
Yeah.
and in being not only in prayer, but being a resource. Prayer is good, but
Yeah.
going to therapy is good too.
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
and therapy work very well together.
Yes,
And
it
so those
does.
are some things that, we want to be um, addressing, if you will.
Yes. Amen. Excellent. When does the fast start and end, Pastor? And should we fast all day or only a portion of the day? A certain portion of the day.
The fast starts again on this coming Sunday at 7 o'clock. I mean, this coming 7 o'clock. This coming Sunday, January the 7th,
Uh-huh.
and it ends on January the 27th. How you fast is really between you and God.
Yeah.
We provide guidelines,
Yeah.
but it's between you and God as to how you will fast. Some of us will be fasting the 21 days 24/7. We will be um, in that realm for 24/7 at the fast. But there may be others who will not be fasting 24/7. They may be fasting on a certain portion or a certain part of the day.
Mhm.
So that depends on you and God,
Yes.
because this is first and foremost.
Yeah.
Even though this is a corporate fast,
Mm-hmm.
this is a corporate fast that still involves you and your relationship with God, and where it is where you are, and what is the God that would have you to do. Because for some people, there may be medical reasons
Yes.
why they cannot do a 24/7 fast, that they may have to have certain portions of the day or certain kinds of food. So this is between you and the Lord, and you and the Lord and your doctor, or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be, as to um, the time of day that you fast and how the fast will look for you.
Yeah. I think also they should also seek medical guidance based on
Yes,
their medical challenges. If you deal with
I,
lots of medications and all that, before you just do your research prior to the fast, and you know
yeah,
how long to fast
yes,
and how to. That would, whether it's
yes,
a portion all day or maybe a
mhm,
couple hours, just do something.
right. You
Yeah,
need to pay attention to that. Especially if you are nursing your mom and you're
yeah,
nursing, you need to have you need to be attentive to what you're doing and how you're
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What happens if you mess up during the fast? Is it okay for us to continue after we mess up, or should we just start a new fast?
No, what you mean start a new fast? Just give up on it and start all over on another day? No. If you listen, if you mess up, you mess up. You just get back up and keep it
Yeah,
moving.
yeah,
It's to make this. It's really, you really don't want to overthink it.
yeah,
You might slip up, and next thing you
yeah.
know, that potato chip has somehow gotten to your mouth. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know how it got there, but it got there.
Yeah,
But you just God looks at the heart. What is your intent?
mm,
When your intent was to stay on track, and to be, but somehow you slip, and so you get back up again.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Just gotta keep it moving. Okay,
Yeah,
you fell down, but get back up and keep going.
back up.
It's not
Don't.
that deep. You just
It's
start
not
over. You
that
just do it.
it's It's not that deep. And that's the other part that we want to make sure, folks, is don't overthink it. Don't be tripping. Don't be paying so much attention to what you're eating until you're not praying.
Right.
Till you're not taking time to be with God because you're so busy over here wondering what I'm going to eat. I'm going to be hungry. How's this going to work? I might mess up. Don't overthink it.
Right.
As you said, it's not that deep. Your main focus and your main purpose is you want to take this time to draw closer to God, to be in prayer on those things that we are corporately praying about, and just being before His face. So that is the main focus.
Yeah. And also, Pastor, they can also meal prep. So you can meal prep will help you to continue, or if you mess up, you know where to go back and start over. But don't overthink it. You're right. Just
don't overthink it. When we did fast before, because we don't do it every year. Some churches it's the routine, they do it every year. God just haven't called us to do it every year. So but when we've done it before, people will come online sharing different recipes, helping folks out. So you do want to create that community. And just want to encourage, our partners now, when just share your recipes, share what you're doing, how you make, how you make certain things, and, just sharing, some of the good stuff that you have out there. It's we don't want you to be eating, Caesar salad for 21 days and water.
Agree.
You just don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that.
Yeah, do things a little different. That's all.
Yeah.
Do a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. Should children participate in the Daniel fast, Pastor K?
I think they should to some degree. And I think they should. And I'm going to tell you, I have several reasons why. Number one, it helps to teach children spiritual discipline. Now, do they have to do a whole 21-day doing exactly what we're doing? Not necessarily, but it's not that they couldn't, because there are many children who are vegetarians and vegans. So it's not that it's impossible, but I think that children should participate to some degree, whether it's cutting out a lot of junk food, stuff that we don't really need to have anyway, whether it's cutting your time off of social media. But I think children should participate, including, if you will, maybe removing certain foods from the diet for the 21 days, again, is a way of helping to teach our children discipline. It's helping to teach them, we're in a society now of immediate gratification. And, whatever we want it now. Everything is instant, is right in front of us. And so it teaches kids, how you have to wait. And it's teaching them how to put God first and how to go before Him. So, under the guidance of the parent, and knowing what they need to, what will work for their child. I think parents should sit down with their children and just say, hey, let's talk about this, and share the importance of the Daniel fast and why it's beneficial. And I think children will be open to it.
And also it could help to motivate the parent. And also it could be a disciplinary action for them as well.
Teach
your children, then you have to do right yourself. Another interesting question here, Pastor, says, I have a medical condition that is affected by what I eat. Should I be participating in the fast?
That is going to be between you and your doctor. So that's between you and your doctor as to what you should be doing.
Let's go back to medical guidance.
Right back to medical guidance. Yes.
I'm already a vegan or vegetarian. So how will I participate in this fast with the church community to show that I am standing with everyone?
That's another good question. Because we actually had some people who came out of the fast when we did it before, who became vegetarians and vegan. And so, that's a good question. So for those people, They could choose to do a full fast if they want. Like I shared earlier. They could choose to do, oh, I'm gonna only have, water and tea or juice from between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Or whatever time they so designate. So they can still participate in the fast. They just would participate differently.
Yeah.
And their next step up would be for people who are vegans. And vegans, they're very strict. They don't take, oils and anything of that nature. They are already down to the nitty gritty. Vegetarians, I think vegetarians will eat eggs. I think with the Daniel Fast dairy products is excluded. So, but they may choose to do full fast for a portion of the day. They may fast, from breakfast to lunch, and only eat dinner, or only do one meal. So again, it's how they feel so led to move forward. Or they may have a thing about being hooked on social media, because that's a big thing, and it may just take. I'm taking 6 20 and I'm getting off of social media and taking that time, spending in prayer and reading my word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So what would they cut? A vegan, what would they cut out really? They don't eat hardly anything.
Yeah, strict vegans,
vegans are
the strict vegans is
no
kind of like
dairy, no nothing.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Many times people fast to lose weight. So how is it fast different from that?
The difference is this is a spiritual fast.
Okay.
Right. We can do intermittent fasting. That's a big deal now. People using intermittent fasting to lose weight. We fast for medical reasons, and that's just abstaining from food. This is a spiritual fast, meaning that we're taking the time to intentionally being, before God, to be in prayer. It means with this fast, I'm not spending all my time trying to cook. I'm using this time, to pray. Using this time to study, using this time to reflect, if you will, using this time just to be in a place of serenity, if you will, where, I'm just going to maybe just to take some soaking time where, when you put on some worship music and just allow yourself to soak in that, but just kind of backing off from the day-to-day routine, and really being more intentional as you go before the Lord, particularly for those things that we are praying about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
You're becoming more disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's another one that says, I do not eat veggies at all. No vegetables. I don't like them, and I don't choose to eat them. So how can we participate in the fast? Okay.
Yeah, well, for the non-veggie people, I know what I shared with someone before, because they were like, I don't just do vegetables at all. And I said, well, maybe this fast for you is to pick one vegetable, something that's healthy for you, because God wants us to take care of this temple. He wants us to be healthy. Maybe what your assignment during this time was to try something, incorporate something green, a green leafy vegetable into your diet, But for those who just can't tolerate, vegetables at all, then you may want to just pull some stuff out of your diet. You want to abstain from your diet. So you may choose to abstain from dairy products if that's something you indulge in, or you may abstain from junk food if that's your thing. Or you can do back again what we shared before about, a full fast, a certain time of the day you just don't take in any solid food or anything, but you may just have juice, herbal teas, water, like that. So there's a way you can still participate.
Yeah, and Pastor, they can juice their veggies, some veggies.
True.
Leafy green veggies, which is a good way to get the vegetables in as well.
True.
Just throw some pineapple or apples in it and just kind of drink it.
Yeah.
Or something with some ice or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a way to do it, but yeah.
I can
So
see
here's another.
one like, I don't know if I want to juice that kale.
Spinach. Put some pineapple in it. You can't tell the difference.
Help sweeten it up. Right.
Yeah, it'll sweeten it up. Yeah. Here's something interesting. A friend said that he participated in the Daniel fast before, and his life changed so much as a result of the fast. What if I participate in the fast and nothing comes of it?
I will say to you, or say to the person who asked that question, you are going to walk away with something.
Yeah.
It is it and you and the thing of it is sometimes we are looking for um we're looking for something dramatic to happen.
Mhm,
For some people, that might be it. Like
mhm,
the things again going back um for some people who went through the fast, it was some life changing for them. They no longer ate meat anymore.
yeah.
They became vegans and vegetarians. So it was
Yeah.
a life changing move for them. For some people going through it, the answers that they were seeking, they got it. The peace that they were looking for, they
Yeah.
did receive.
Yeah.
But everybody may not have that big dramatic change, if you will, or
Mhm,
be something subtle. And what I mean is that you were on the fast, and let's say you participated with the fast, you abstained from sugar and all of that, and what you later find out is that
mhm,
you are feeling better. That is
mhm.
the way. You're feeling better now because you have detoxed, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, we've had folks who were on the fast before and they went back to their doctor and blood pressure was down, your A1C was down. uh,
Mm,
they got a great report. So you will come away with something. You may come away with, when we on starting on this coming Monday, we will be having corporate prayer 7 o'clock in the morning.
mhm.
And so let's say you're someone who, you've been inconsistent with your devotional. You know how we can all get caught up with, life.
Mhm.
And so we get caught up and may not be spending as being regular or consistent in our devotional time. Maybe once you go with you during this fast period and you are gathering every morning at 7 o'clock, you may find that after the fast, you will continue um, with your time of devotion. So
Mhm.
you will walk away from something. And I would say enter into this fast with an expectation.
Mhm. Yeah.
The expectation that something is going to happen, that you're going to receive something, that you're going to find a closer relationship with God.
Mhm.
You're spending this time. So you will come away
Or
with something
something.
that has changed in your life.
Yeah.
It might not be earth shattering,
Yeah.
but it was something will change.
Yeah. You have to have a made up mind as well, Pastor. You have to go in with some expectations
Right,
on what you or we desire out of the fast.
right,
And make sure it works. Make it happen. Because
right.
you're in control of you, you individual person. Yeah.
Mhm.
What steps should we take to ensure that we're doing the right things in participating in the fast?
I'll go back to my answer before. Don't overthink it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Don't freak out if you slip. You set
Yeah.
this down to do this, or let's say I'm going to do the full fast from 6 to in the morning to 6 in the evening and
Mm-hmm.
eat something.
Right.
Um, again, don't we don't want to make this legalistic, if you will.
Right.
We just want you to not overthink it and just enjoy and trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to do what's right for us. Each individual that's fasting has a different mission different goal. They may can do 8 hours, but I can only do 4 hours.
Right.
You have to know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we be cautious of anything during the fast?
I think we should always be attentive to and have our discernment intact. Really keep on your full armor, because
Yeah.
whenever you're making a stride and going, trying to move closer into God, and whenever we're praying for something specific, and that's what we're praying for specific things, you're going to get interruption from or challenges from the enemy. That's his job.
Yeah.
Is to get us off track, is to get us distracted, so that we're off focus. And so it shouldn't be a surprise to us if some challenges pop up that will kind of draw us away. You can become frustrated, but just realize when they come, what the source is, where it's coming from.
Yeah.
We can deal with it from on that standpoint. So yeah, it is just paying attention to how we're moving in the spiritual realm. When you're fasting and going before God, that's serious business. Even though in one sense I'm saying, don't overthink it, which still holds, but it's still a serious principle. It's a serious practice that we're doing.
Yes.
And so, yes, it opens us up, and the enemy would seek to distract, draw you away, discourage you, frustrate you.
Yep.
I'm not doing this right. I'm not feeling anything. I don't know why all of that can come.
All of it.
All of
and
that.
More.
Right.
Yes, all of that can come. So, Pastor, how do you finish the fast?
Well, coming off the fast, if you have abstained from all meats, dairy, you might not want to. I fast in on Saturday. You might not want to jump in on Sunday morning with and eggs and pork chops and you might want to ease that back into it. So, but that's one way. That's one thing to do, to get you back into your other diet. But here is the other thing is, with the questions of how to finish. Take your time and to evaluate as far as from the physical aspect, how are you feeling? In other words, should you reintroduce some foods back into your diet that were not good for you in the first place?
Right.
Sometimes we remove things and then that were not healthy for us in the first place, and then put it back into our diet again, and we can put ourselves back. It can impact our health. You know what I mean? If your blood pressure was good and your A1C was good and you would lose weight and so forth, then not saying you have to be strict, Daniel, strict vegan. I think it's time to reassess. I've been off of this. Do I need this or do I just want this?
Right.
And it is good for me, because it helps us with our mindset and understanding that our body, it is the temple of God.
Yeah.
So it is the temple. And so the question we want to ask ourselves is, how do we want to take care of this temple that God is residing in? Do you want to put a whole lot of junk in it?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I just don't want to do it.
You really have to be, that's the other thing where the Daniel fast can help us. And that's what you be prayerful about. While we're going, even though we have specific things that we are praying for corporately, you have some things you want to pray for individually, your own set of things. So we just want to make sure people understand that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But that does not mean you cannot have your own personal prayer, things that your prayer concerns, if you will, things that you're going before the Lord about. And one of the things we may want to go before the Lord about is how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of this temple. We are doing this work for the Lord, but we got to have some energy.
Oh yeah.
We need to be able to try to, to keep the body up. And so it's taking the time to see what it is that we're putting in. And so as we're coming out, just talk to God about it and assess how you're feeling. And Lord, do I really need to? I had this one lady, and this didn't have a thing to do with the fast, but she enjoyed wine. She really enjoyed wine. I mean, she did it. It wasn't, she wasn't lush, you know what I mean? She enjoyed wine. And so she said, the Lord asked her, do you prefer me over the wine? And she gave it up. You know what I mean? It wasn't doing her any harm, but he asked her that question. Was she willing to give that up? So y'all may ask us, or just to something, within that we're taking in, that we need to be mindful of. I want to put this out here too, because, when we're going through the pandemic, you remember when the vaccine came out, and everybody was, not everybody, but, folks were reluctant about the vaccine, but shoot, they were reluctant about wearing a mask. Yet you would eat anything. So.
Yeah. Going back to the foods that we eat, Pastor, I would think once we go through the process of fasting and getting our bodies healed, we're removing the certain foods and drinks and whatever, and the sugars, right, and the carbs. Once the fast is over, you do feel really good, like an accomplishment,
Yeah.
So my thing is, why go back and put it all back in? It's not healthy for you anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's just like habit. But the fast will discipline you not to pick it up or just let it go.
You're right. And it's, it is talking to God about, what we take in physically. And I think the big thing is that, he might tell us, who don't like a good chicken wing?
Yes.
I mean, so, it's not go like, Lord, you don't really mean for me to do that, but yeah, just using, I think as we're coming through, and I think that is going to be one of the really important things that as the body of Christ that we really need to look at. It's definitely, we look, it is important what we put into, what we take in spiritually, what we're taking into our spirits, what we're, but it is also so important what we're taking in our bodies.
Yes.
And I'm talking to myself too, you know what I mean? But it's, and I really believe God wants us to pay close attention to that. And I think that's going to be one of the things that some of us will definitely experience when we go through this fast, is that it is a spiritual thing, what we eat, and paying attention to that. So,
wow.
It can be challenging.
It can be. So Pastor, when the fast is over, what then and what's next?
Well, as far as the church is concerned, things that we're praying for, we're praying for our communities, and we're praying for our schools, and we're praying for our church. And, we're praying with expectation. And just trusting. There's some things we may not see, but it doesn't mean that God isn't moving, especially when, for those who are online with us, and, you can go to our not our Facebook, but you can go to our website, and you also can go to our app, and you can download all of the whole instructions and guidelines as far as the fast is concerned. And you will see in there that we're inviting people, to our partners, to do prayer walks, if you will. And that is walk through your community. If you're able to, we have folks that live out in the country and so forth, that might not be so doable. And also, with the weather, but if it is doable, to actually prayer walk. Even if it's not doable, you still can pray for your community from your
Mhm.
of your home. But to really just to pray for our neighbors. You don't have to know what's going on behind those closed doors. We may not even know who they are,
Right.
but just praying that God will meet whatever need that they
Mhm.
needed, whether it's a spiritual need, a financial need, or whatever the
Mhm.
case. God knows what's happening behind those doors. He knows what everybody's in need of. Our assignment during the week that we're praying for our communities is that each one of us in our own respective communities will be praying
Mhm.
for our neighbors. Um,
Mhm.
and whether you're teaming up with someone and going on a walk, but it's just to kind of take the time and just praying. We may not know how God will be moving. We may not get the report back.
Mhm.
You might meet somebody while you're walking and you have an opportunity to speak with them and pray with them, or just to have some dialogue.
Mhm.
You may not see them again, and you may not know what they're dealing with or how God answers. But what we have to trust is that we know that if we're praying in God's will, it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Whether we see it or not, that is not should not even be our concern. Our
That's
concern,
right.
our purpose is
Just to
we're going
pray.
to pray for our community. We're going to be praying for our church.
Yeah.
We're going to be praying for our schools. Praying for God's protection and just standing in the gap for our young people. Some things we will see the results of. There are a lot of things we may not see the results of, but it does not mean that the prayer was not effective. It does not mean that God isn't moving forward. And the other thing is for us to be attentive to what God is saying during the fast and when we're coming out of the fast.
Mhm.
Even we're going to get some direction. We're going to get some answers. We had all of those priorities, those categories that we had to prioritize. I believe
Right.
God is going to show us, okay, you need to do this one next.
Yeah.
And this is how you're going to do it. So we're going in with expectation
Yes.
that, and it's not to suggest that he's going to give us the whole entire plan. He could, but he may not, because this thing is a faith walk.
Yeah.
Moving
Yeah.
forward is a faith walk.
Yeah.
And so we will see some things. It's a corporate fast. And the other thing we're looking for then when you're in a corporate fast, one of the purposes of a corporate fast, of course, is to be in harmony with God, but it's also to create unity among the people,
Yeah.
among our congregants, among our partners,
Mhm.
more unified. That doesn't mean that we're always going to be in agreement. It doesn't mean, but what it does mean that even though we may not always be in agreement, but we're always going to be in harmony.
Exactly.
Always going to work forward and seek what's best for God.
We Yes.
Um,
Definitely.
so moving forward, when it's over, we were looking for some changes. Some we will see, some we won't. But we're
Yeah.
just trusting that God will take care of all of that.
Yeah. And He
Mhm.
will. He
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
We have to be obedient
Yeah.
and trust the process.
Trust the process.
Yes.
Mhm.
Great. It was a great overview, Pastor, of the Daniel fast.
Did we have any questions? Chat?
No questions in the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat.
No. No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Okay, we just see it come up. If you want motivation for the fast, watch You Are What You Eat on Netflix.
Okay. Oh.
Yes. Yes, watch that.
Yeah. I think we all need to watch it, huh?
Yes. Yeah, watch that. Okay. I don't think there's anything else. Ms. Butler says, trust the process. Yep.
Oh, that was
Mr. Meek,
helpful.
I'm glad it was helpful. Yeah. Oh, as Andrea see up in the post, you may want to journal during this time as God speaks. Yes, that is very important.
Yes.
To see things he has spoken and prayers answered doing and beyond. Yes. Thank you, Andrea, for bringing that up. Definitely journal during this time.
Oh, yeah.
Each again, Monday through Friday, we have a prayer focus
Mm.
and a prayer petitioner. So, definitely sign in. And even if you aren't able to make it at 7 o'clock in the morning, because it's going to be on our YouTube and I think also on our Facebook, you'll be able to go over and, be in prayer and to journal. What is it that God is saying to you in particular? Because this is a very personal time. It's a corporate time, but it's also a very personal time.
And also, Pastor, when you journal, like when the fast is over, you can go back and look at all your accomplishments.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
You
and that
definitely.
gives you that hope. You see where
Yeah.
you're going. That's the what's next
Yes.
that you would need to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's pretty much on my part. Again, if there are any other questions, and we would be more than happy. Again, even after we sign off, if you do have questions, feel free to text, email. You can just email us and catch us at church or whatever, and we'll be glad to help you out.
Yeah.
So get ready. So use this. If you haven't started already, start getting your grocery list together.
Yes.
That's because going back to what you said earlier, Mr. Renee, you said meal prep.
Yeah.
That is
Meal
going
prep.
to be the key. Okay, that is going to be the key.
Yeah.
Is to meal prep, because you know
Yeah.
how it is. We get busy.
Yep.
You have meal prep. You're hungry. You start grabbing for whatever is ready.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
definitely meal prep. Go and do your grocery shopping.
Mhm.
Get your stuff together. Again, I think Erica put up there, you can go on to YouTube. There are a lot of vegan recipes. We do not want you to be sitting out here just eating Caesar salad and drinking water for 21 days.
That's not the answer.
That is not the answer.
No.
You're not going to survive that.
No.
Yeah, but you can do that. All righty.
Well, Pastor, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Minister Renee.
Yeah.
And thank everyone who joined us tonight.
Yeah.
And again, okay. And one other announcement we want to give. I almost forgot. And that was not only are we having the 7 a.m. prayer, but starting next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, on YouTube, and it will be streaming here on Facebook. We will begin our series called Honoring Your Truth. In Honoring Your Truth, we are interviewing people who have gone through some hellacious times in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be sharing their story of how God brought them through. And so every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we be launching this new series called Honoring Your Truth. Our first interviewee who will be presenting on next Wednesday at 7 o'clock is none other than Minister Keofa Downs.
Oh,
She will be premiering Honoring Your Truth. So put that in your calendars, folks. I'm telling you, we have been doing these interviews, and I'm going to tell you, every last one has been so inspiring, and just it's been amazing. And I promise you, you're going to thoroughly enjoy the truth. So meet us back here on next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Next Wednesday at 7, not Thursday. Next Wednesday. That's it.
Okay.
All righty.
All right.
Well, thank you too, Miss Renee. We really
Thank
appreciate
you, Pastor. Appreciate you.
You take care. All right.
All right. Good night.